Welcome traders to our start of week technical analysis video. Jumping straight into things here, as you can see, since our last technical analysis, which was our start of week technical analysis video, apologies for the lack of a end of week technical analysis. The reason for that being was I had some things, some family stuff that I needed to sort out, so I hope you guys can understand. Anyway, so carrying on, jumping straight into things here. So as we can see from looking at this chart, obviously this is where we last left off. We last left off with price consolidating between this range that we found. If I go ahead and just zoom in real quick, we are on the hour one. If I go to minute 15, just so we can zoom into this little bit and see a little bit more detail. So as you can see, I remember us speaking about this consolidation move. Price was sort of moving in between these levels. I updated this in our midweek technical analysis last week. Price ended up coming into this level, breaking above, and we found a new all-time high around here. Price then started to consolidate, giving us even more confirmations of a continuation of this bullish move. The indication to us was a bullish wedge that we can see form right here. We had a bullish wedge with price just breaking through, creating higher highs and higher lows. So with that being said, price then continued on higher. If I go back to our hour one now, you can see that price continued significantly with gold's new all-time high at around let's say 3,427, which is crazy for gold. If I go to our daily real quick, you can see the magnitude of this recent week or so. As you can see here, the last 3 weeks have been extremely bullish, and again, like we say in most of our technical analysis videos, gold is always more or less bullish. So with that all being said, we're going to go down to our hour one and we're going to go ahead and find any significant levels that we can find. So as we know, we are now trading in no man's land. So we're trading in an area in which gold has not traded in before, so taking trades can be a little bit iffy. However, when the market is trending, it is quite easy to I say easy, it's not easy, but it's quite simple to actually base your trades off of, because if you don't see any bearish conversions or bearish flips, then the most likely move that you're going to be taking is a long, because you're going to be riding the wave. With that all being said, hour one isn't giving us enough information, therefore we're going to go down to our minute 15 and we're going to go ahead and mark up our chart so then we can have a better understanding of what we are currently looking at. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing as we always do, work from left to right, from bottom to top, and we're just going to find any places within the market that have tested as both a support and resistance, or tested as a support or resistance multiple times. So with that being said, we're going to jump in straight here. These levels that I mark in with these purple rectangle boxes, they are not price accurate. Nothing's ever going to be price accurate in any pair, especially when it comes to gold. And we're just marking in the rough area where we want to take start taking a look into the market. So we're marking these areas that is a place within the market that we think price will react to significantly. So with that being said, this is going to be our first level. As you can see, price did start to stutter at this level, and then we created a support which was recently tested on Thursday last week. We're going to get ahead and continue what we're doing, and we're just going to look at the left side of the chart, and we're going to move over to the right, and working from bottom to top. So that's the first level that we want to mark in. The next level is going to be somewhere around here. As you can see, we've seen price test this level multiple times as a resistance, and price in fact struggled to go above that. Now we're going to confluence that in with the right side of our chart and have a look if it is a significant level. And as you can see, price came down to this level a couple times and tested it as a support. In fact, it was tested as a support for one final time before we saw this next bullish push. So again, I'm just going to work my way up the chart. I'm just going to speed through it rather than talking through it right now, and we'll be right back. So that's a level there that I can see, and then again, we always mark it in our all-time highs that are created, because again, like for example, you would see that price ended up pushing above this level. We had a break of structure and price continued. So again, just a bullish confluence. However, we are not teaching you right now, I'm just marking up the chart. So that being said, we're going to move over, as this is the information that we're looking at now. If I go ahead and zoom in like so, we're just looking for our levels again. A nice little level there we can grab. We're going to go ahead and keep moving up the chart. A little level there, a little level around this area here. As you can see, price tested multiple times as a resistance. If I did drag this out just so it touches the top of that wick, we most likely will roughly get that support grab there. And then what we'll also do is we'll grab a few horizontal lines and just mark in any smaller levels that we can see. If there are any, there's a level there that we could take into account. If I go ahead and put that in red like we have done before. And that's pretty much it. We could go down to our minute 5 and we could mark in the smaller levels. However, the reason why I go to the minute 15 is because the minute 15 is basically 3 minute 5 candlesticks crunched into one. So more or less the levels that will be shown on our minute 5 time frame will be easy and we'll be able to pick them up on our minute 15. So with that being said, what can we see for the market right now? So we can see an indefinite bullish move, an indefinite bullish trend. We can see that price is pushing higher and higher and higher. So until we see otherwise, until we see a bearish flip, and the thing that will indicate to us that we might see a bearish flip is if we see a few of these levels broken through. For example, if we was to see just these few levels broken through, a bit bearish flip is still unlikely. Whereas if we saw a bearish move and price came back all the way down to here, which we're talking now is around 800 pips away, which would be a significant move, then we can confirm that gold on the lower time frames has in fact performed a bearish flip. But as of right now, the market is bullish. There are no signs saying otherwise. Of course, you can see bearish candlesticks. Your question might be, well, what about these black candlesticks? Obviously our candlesticks are marked up with gold to represent our bullish candlesticks and black to mark our bearish candlesticks. And obviously you can see, and you might question, well, there is a few drops. These are always going to take place in the market, and these are just retracements. When price pushes up, price will always come back down, and vice versa. So you're always going to see those the bears take control in a bullish move, or in a bullish trend, or in a bull run, whatever you want to call it. And the reason for that being is the buyers will sort of see a new all-time high created, and then sellers will enter the market. Sellers will push the price down, and then buyers will find a psychological level, for example this level here, which they can see it was a previous all-time high, tested as support. The buyers get into the market, and then they push price back up. You see that price meets this level again, and then bears start to try and take control. Buyers see the level come down. We see price come down to roughly the same sort of price here, and price pushes up again. The same sort of thing. You see a new all-time high created, volume drops down, bears take control of the market for a short moment, and then you see it tested at a psychological level, and price pushes up, and vice versa, so on and so forth. A lot of break and retest patterns, and that's just some inside trading psychology there for you. So with that all being said, what are we looking for in the market right now? We're looking for longs. Of course, there's going to be some low time frame short opportunities. However, for the rest of the week, unless we see a significant bearish move, we most likely will see this continuation of this bullish momentum. From what I am seeing right now, there is nothing to say otherwise. The one thing that we could potentially see is a range formed on the higher time frames. For example, we are looking at our minute 5 right now. If I look at our minute 15, we could see a range sort of start to form between these levels or something. We could see some consolidation built up in and around these prices. However, with the current momentum that we are seeing, with the current volume in the market, if I just go all the way down to our minute 1, you can see that price is pushing higher and higher and higher. With that being said, we'll go to our hour 4 real quick, and we'll just have a look. As you can see, since market open on Sunday, really, price has been significantly bullish. This is all Sunday and Monday morning, and you can just see that price is just rallying like crazy right now. As you can see, we actually saw this same sort of move happen before. You can see it came up, and then we sort of saw bears take control for a short period of time, and then the bulls took control of the market. So in fact, we could see something like that happen again, where we see price come down and then price pushes back up from around this level, and that will go back and tie into what I said. We could see price start consolidating, perhaps around this new all-time high. Apologies for the dog barking in the background. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but it is annoying. But yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. If we see price start dropping slightly, but then respecting a certain area as a support, then most likely we'll see a range built up. Buyers getting out of the market as a new all-time high is being created as of right now, and then the bears trying to take control before the buyers see it landing on a psychological level and then pushing price further. The reason for it, so an economic news insight, so the reason for it is there is a lot of things happening around the world that will economically affect gold's price. For example, we all know, and I've said it many times before, that the the price of gold is heavily reflected on the strength of the dollar. So if I was to load up DXY real quick, which is the dollar index, and go onto our hour one, for example, you can see that the price of the dollar has dropped off significantly, and all the while this is happening and the dollar is losing its strength, gold in fact is going up, and you can see that right here. So that's a little insight. So obviously Donald Trump, the new and newest appointed president of the United States of America, has recently released and imposed new tariffs around the world, and the backlash for that has been quite significant, which then leads to the dollar weakening in value. What does that mean? What does it mean when the dollar weakens value? The dollar will always be a dollar. It just means the buying power of a dollar will be a lot less. Almost like inflation, but over the markets. And as you can see right now, if we look and we experience this together, we can see that gold is now creating another new all-time high, and most likely will continue on. The most likely thing, to be honest, what we'll most likely see from here is price continue on bullish. If I grab my path real quick, price will probably continue on bullish, find a new top, and then come back down and give us another break and retest pattern before price then continues on bullish furthermore. So yeah, with that being said, that's basically it for our start of week technical analysis. It's very exciting for gold as of right now. There's a lot of things happening in the market, there's a lot of things happening around the world, so it's actually really exciting, and there's a lot of volume and volatility in the market. A lot of pips are moving. There's a lot of parts moving that are controlling the price of gold as of right now. So make sure, if you are trading gold, to stay in tune with the current world events, because anything could happen. For example, I believe the Pope was announced dead today, so rest in peace to the Pope. So in fact, that will have an effect on the market, and people will all jump into gold because gold is a psychological safe haven for most investors. So yeah, that's going to be that for our start of week technical analysis. I'm really excited for our midweek technical analysis. In fact, I'm going to say it right now, instead of a write-up midweek technical analysis, due to the fact that I missed the end of week last week, I will create a video rather than a write-up, where we can go over things together once more. And then I will continue on again on our end of week technical analysis. So yeah, I also want to say, in our last technical analysis video, I really appreciate all the engagement and support. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Sorry. We had a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of views. It was actually our most engaged video for a while now, and I know a few more people have checked out the how to follow signals video, which is now I think at around 1,300 views, which is absolutely amazing. So I cannot thank you enough. But don't forget to keep hitting that subscribe button, keep letting me know what you think of the videos, keep hitting that like button, and I will catch you guys in the next one.